Welcome back to another episode looking at one of the finest clubs to ever grace European competition. 23 sides have won the European Cup since its inception in the 1955-56 season, but very, very few have dominated the competition for years on end.
Slipped into Larson, on goes Eto'o, real chance, 1-1. Tucked into Belletti. Oh, he's in! Barcelona are back on top of European football.
So the stats suggest it's extremely difficult to win a European Cup, as Roma have never done it, Atletico Madrid have never done it, Arsenal or PSG haven't either. So how have such giants been frozen out of the trophy celebrations whilst other clubs have had the cheek to go and win it multiple times? There simply has to be something special about those teams that create European footballing dynasties. Could it be a mix of world-class players, world-class management, lots of hard work of course, and preparation, lots of luck and good fortune, and usually a hint of magic in the mix too, whether that is in the form of Lionel Messi or a famous Anfield atmosphere on a Tuesday night? There are certain intangibles that just seem to be made for the European Cup. Legends are created and legacies are written in the finest club competition in world football, and some have the ability to keep rewriting the history books year after year. One such team is FC Barcelona. The Catalan giants were able to dominate Spain and Europe for what felt like an eternity, namely between 2006 and 2015, when they won a whopping 4 Champions League titles. So how on earth did they do that, especially in an era of such fierce competition? When you think about this year's crop, Manchester City and Real Madrid both stand alone as Champions League favourites, a bit like last year. It's rare that for 2 years on the bounce it is really hard to look past just 2 teams as potential winners. Between 2006 and 2015, however, Barcelona had many fearsome adversaries. To begin, from the 04-05 season up until the 08-09 season, England's mighty Premier League had at least one team in the Champions League final every year. Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal and Manchester United were all benefiting a financial boom in England and were all serious contenders for glory every single season. Italian giants AC Milan were coming to the end of a cycle but still had one of the best teams in European history. They were European Cup finalists 3 times in 5 seasons during the 2000s and champions on 2 of those occasions. Between 2010 and 2013, Bayern Munich benefited from what was seen as yet another golden generation. They reached a stunning 3 finals in 4 years. Meanwhile, at home, a rampant Borussia Dortmund won back-to-back Bundesliga titles under Jurgen Klopp and caused a lot of problems for the big boys in Europe too. From the 2013-14 season onwards, it was both sides of Madrid that made a habit of reaching European Cup finals. Barcelona's La Liga rivals caused a continental storm too, and eventually Real went on to dominate Europe themselves, but we'll chat about that in another video. The point is that during this time, this game was filled with wondrous football teams across Europe, and FC Barcelona managed to dominate the Spanish and European game despite that. Barca won 4 European Cups in 10 seasons, and were discussed as being perhaps one of the greatest club sides in the history of the game. In tiki-taka, they had their own unique brand of how to play the game. In Pep Guardiola, they had the man who is now regarded as football's best coach, and in Lionel Messi, the player who is now regarded as the greatest of all time. This is the story of FC Barcelona's European dominance. For all the talk of Messi and Guardiola, FC Barcelona actually reached the top of the European football pyramid before their great player and manager got involved. It was Frank Rijkaard, the Dutchman and ex-Ajax and AC Milan player, that managed Barca to the Champions League in 2006. Meanwhile, on the park, Barcelona squad struck a handsome balance between foreign stars and academy wonder kids. The likes of Ronaldinho, Deco, Henrik Larsson and Samuel Eto'o need no introduction. They played alongside a crop of homegrown talents that included Carlos Puyol, Andres Iniesta, Xavi and Victor Valdés, and the team seemed to have the perfect recipe. In the 04-05 season, Barcelona clinched La Liga and Ronaldinho and Eto'o achieved remarkable recognition by securing the 1st and 3rd positions respectively in the FIFA World Player of the Year awards. In 05-06 they won the league again and smashed Real Madrid 3-0 at the Bernabeu. It was a team flying up the form chart that was fast gaining a reputation as perhaps Europe's top contenders. Barca Barça cruised through a group phase that year that included Udinese, Panathinaikos and Werder Bremen before taking on the likes of Chelsea, Benfica and AC Milan in the knockout rounds. Very romantic final indeed was set up between the Azulgrana and Arsenal of the Premier League, who themselves were on a fantastic run. They had seen off Real Madrid, Juventus and Villarreal in the knockout rounds without even conceding a goal and were on track for their very first European Cup. Barca actually went 1-0 down early on in the Paris 2006 final, but Arsenal also had problems of their own and were reduced to 10 men. It was game on for the Catalan side, and they mounted a remarkable late comeback to secure a 2-1 victory and bring Barcelona its second ever European Cup. Super sub Henrik Larsson was making his last appearance for Barca. The Swede played a pivotal role in setting up goals for both Samuel Eto'o and fellow substitute Giuliano Belletti to turn the game completely on its head. The victory marked the club's first European Cup triumph for 14 years, the second of all time as mentioned, and the start of a dominant dynasty that would see them double the number of trophies they'd won in Europe very soon. The rest of the continent was scared, and rightly so. To find out how this Barca side would evolve to even bigger and better things, join us in part 2 next time out. Magic was brewing in La Masia, and the Camp Nou would go on to display some of the finest football the world has ever seen. They were just getting started. Hit that subscribe button and we'll see you in the next video.